What's up guys, Mr. SLIN here with another video about Comp TF2. Today I sat down at my computer and I was thinking to myself that I really need to get better at my Ubers. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to review every single Uber that Froyotech had in Grand Finals on Snakewater. I'm going to just make a video about that, show it to you guys, break down the Ubers, and hopefully we'll all learn something after this experience. Alright, so this first Uber, Shade and his team are walking in underneath on full Uber advantage. They're gonna head down the deep right side. This is a very standard Uber for Snakewater if you guys are not familiar. They're gonna pop it onto Banny, walk in their demo man behind, and they immediately take out the level 1 sentry gun. Banny moves towards the point and Shade turns around to see if there's anyone else he can flash in. So grabs bot mode. He also sees Eric walking in afterwards. Banny's got a lot of cap time. That's going to be the first round on the board. This second Uber is a rather tragic tale, but what appears to be the case is that Badonsky is dead, traded for Blaze, and they're going to be able to walk in lower with knowing there's no traps, no nothing at all. Shade is completely focused on looking forward for incoming spam, and that's when Mela pounces as a spy and takes him down. I think if Shade were to do this all over again, he should be looking around a little bit more, but it's hard for him to do that when there's that so much in front of you. So kind of tricky situation. Really nice pick by Mela though. This is actually an Uber that I've shown you before in another video of mine. Shade is walking lower, 6 versus 5 Uber advantage, and this is going to turn out really nicely for them. Watch as they walk lower. How much damage is on Rando? Rando gets dropped, and Nursey has this she needs to pop a good Uber here is the problem. So when Mela goes down low, that's when Nursey's forced to pop. And look at Shade's positioning. He's walking with Banny down the deep right side, no pressure onto him at all. Banny's calling for the Uber, getting ready to go in. Yomps is going down. Banny chases into upper lobby, starts putting damage into Corsa. Corsa is going to fall soon after, and Froyotech is just in a very good position here to close out the round. So this is another tragic Uber right here. As you can see, it's 4 versus 6 for Froyotech, and bot mode goes down to 1 health and barely lives. So Froyotech know that they have to back up to last. They wanted to go on that Uber, but they just cannot go quite yet. Meanwhile, Yomps is sneaking down underneath. Corsa gets a little bit too aggressive. Bot mode picks him off. They're already a scout down for Ascent, but Yomps needs to survive. He needs to stay alive as long as he can and distract Shade and prevent his team from pushing out of last. Unfortunately, he goes down, and now Ascent are down both scouts. This is the green light, the go sign for Shade to push forward with 40% Uber advantage. Now watch very carefully what happens here. Mela walks forward on second point and jumps the battlements, and just so happens the timing is just perfect to juggle bot mode into the corner where Badonsky can follow up with a sticky and get the pick here. Now from this position, 5 on 5, I think is actually still okay for Froyotech to win with this push, but watch what happens. Shade walks forward and eats a rocket right to the face, and he ends up popping Uber to Mela. Look how far back Nursey is. This Uber is not that good from Froyotech, and looking back at it, I think that the communication on Froyotech should have been a little bit better. Had Shade known just how far back Nursey was, he could have delayed a little bit longer, not eaten a rocket from Mela, and they could have walked forward and taken second point without popping Uber. This is the tale of unfortunate Ubers, because here's another push for Froyotech out of last point. 3 players dead for Ascent. This is very cut and dry, so easy for Froyotech to just walk onto the point and capture. But look out of the corner of your screen, Yomps walking behind, and Shade is none the wiser. And the timing is just so unfortunate. Look at him right here behind his back. But the way that it worked out, like Eric was forward towards the point, I don't think he had an opportunity to really see where Yomps was. It's kind of difficult. You have Habib there on the train. He didn't see it either, and everybody's looking forward because of that potential spam coming in. Blaze, even on him underneath, it's just, if he was there like a second sooner, he could have seen Yomps walk up, but the timing was just perfect. Yomps got in there behind Shade, and just a couple of shots to the back is going to force the Uber here. And from this position, there is nothing that Froyotech can do that's good with this Uber. All right, so this is kind of a crazy situation that happens here. I want to set it up by saying that there's like 5 or 10 minutes of, it feels like 10 minutes, but it's only 5 minutes of stalemating. Mela goes down, and what's going to happen is that Blaze goes for an exchange in the saw, and at this point, like, Ascent's feeling really antsy to try and go for a push, so they're just going to go on this one. Blaze is down for like another 12 seconds while melee respawns. So it could be potentially 6-on-5 after the Ubers are off. So it's looking really, really good for Ascent to come in here and get this force onto Shade. Watch how it happens though. Everyone from Froyotech rotates towards Yard to address the incoming push from Nursey. Bot mode takes a lot of damage right there, kind of waiting for an arrow, but realizes he has to jump out of the situation towards the pack. As stickies are coming in, Shade pops the Uber. Now, I kind of want to evaluate that decision because I don't really feel like he needed to pop the Uber. The stickies were flying in, sure, but I feel like bot mode would have been fine because the stickies weren't that close to him. But I kind of understand Shade's thinking here. Like, if bot mode were to die, it would be 4 versus 6, and it would just be really, really bad for Froyotech. But I think he still could have dropped bot mode and been okay. But, you know, Banny's at 30 health too, so they could go down a lot of players and potentially lose the round. So I kind of understand the rationale for popping here on bot mode. What's really interesting is that Nursey's in the position that Shade was in a couple Ubers ago. Remember, like when Shade came in and was about to pop into Nursey in upper lobby and just destroy them? That's exactly what Corsa's looking to do right here. And Yomps is underneath as well. So Shade is in a lot of trouble. Like if he tries to back out of the situation, he's just dead. So Froyotech actually make a really interesting decision and push towards Yard. They shove their flank into Saw. Shade has to turn back to save bot mode, but look at the way they're playing this. Like Froyotech is actually kind of managing to stay alive. Sure, Eric goes down, but the flank is you know, you got Banny behind there. Shade is just like, okay, we've lost this. Look how many hurt players we have. So he's actually does some like really weird movement and somehow manages to dodge both these rockets and stay at full health that entire time, which is really impressive. And then he just tries to back up into upper lobby. Yomps is waiting there for him, but it looks like Shade is going to be able to back out of this alive. And amazingly, Froyotech hold onto this 3 versus 4. Still a net win for Ascent, but still decently played by Froyotech. Here's the same exact play that we just saw. I just want to show it from a top-down perspective so you guys get a little bit of a different idea of how this happens. Again, Froyotech's going to take that Uber through Saw as Nursey rotates through the Yard. And I really just feel like there's no way Froyotech should have been in this good situation off of this after that Uber was popped on bot mode. Like the Uber that was popped on bot mode wasn't that good. Like bot mode had just jumped away. He had used rockets. He had nothing really loaded. And Nursey was in such a good position. But if you look at Yomps' positioning, like he wasn't really in a place to take the Uber after he starts running underneath through Africa to go for that pinch move. Like Yomps spends so much time running underneath that, see, look at here when I pause it. On the right side, it's 2 versus 2 in Saw. On the left side, it's basically supposed to be 4 versus 3. Blue team is supposed to be leading 4 versus 3, but because Yomps is taking all this time to run underneath, run up the ramp, around through the lobby, all the way back around, it's really like a 3 versus 3. And look how hurt Rando is too. So that number advantage that Ascent should have been able to use to just crush Shade isn't really there. And meanwhile, you know, they're mixing it up over there in the Saw. It's just, it could have gone better for Ascent. I mean, it's still a net win after Shade pops a bad Uber, but if you're just evaluating Shade's Uber, I'm not a big fan of it, and that's why I think he should not have popped it. And the fact that he gets out here through Cheese, I feel is rather lucky, just because the way that Yomps came in, by the time he's able to fight, he's actually at half health. He cannot fight up against bot mode, and Shade's able to get out. All right, so in this play, it is a 60% Uber advantage for Shade, and they're looking to push out of last. As you can see, Habib gets a pick on Mela, so it's 6 versus 5, and Froyotech are green light, full steam ahead, but as this happens, Corsa just walks right under their noses as a spy in through lobby, and because Froyotech is just so ready to just like pedal to the metal, just get out into Yard, this is really sad what happens here. Banny gets picked off by Banowski. Again, I don't think Shade should be popping this Uber when Nursey's so far away, but it doesn't really matter anyways. Corsa goes uncloaks on the last point, and no one's there able to stop it. But it's the same situation that happened last time. Shade's trying to take an Uber out of battlements, pops Uber there, Nursey's all the way out and lower. Like if we're just evaluating the last push out through battlements, not even accounting for the spy, dropping Banny there to a trap on bats just sucks. And I'm not quite sure what the best way is to deal with that, because bot mode tried to clear the trap there, but Banny still died to it anyways. So I just think it's an unfortunate series of events here for Froyotech. Okay, this Uber is pretty dope. At 6 versus 4, Badonsky is dead, so you know there's no trap on the top left side. Plus, with Corsa being dead, the likelihood of the blue team running a sniper here is pretty low. So Froyotech's just going to be able to shove it down the deep left side and take so much ground. Look how far Shade is able to get with this Uber before he pops. Banny is on the point, and they still haven't popped yet. And that being on the point is going to force Nursey to pop. Banny goes really low, so Shade has to pop. And now Shade's just flashing around here. The respawners are up in 2 seconds for Ascent, so you got to keep that in mind. But Shade's going to have to back up, pick up his teammates here. The respawners, though, not going to have buffs for this fight, but, you know, a couple of players are hurt on Froyotech as well. The key part for Froyotech here is that when Shade does back up, he's going to buff his teammates. They get the pick onto Mela on the left side spawn door. And it really comes down to just spawn camping those doors. That's how Froyotech's able to get those picks. From there, they can stack the point and turn around. This is a 4th point push, 6 versus 5, and they know Ascent has Uber. Now, keep in mind that it's 4-4 right now, 8 minutes left, and Ascent do not want to get trapped on last point. So, with only 1 round left in the grand finals, Ascent's going to want to go for a push out. So they end up popping Uber here, and Shade is just so far out. He's completely out of there. Rando has no chance against him. Habib does get caught out here, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It's only 1 pick. Froyotech can rotate back out to middle. And take a look right here. It's a 40% Uber advantage. So Shade is pumped. He's like, 40% Uber. We're going to win the grand finals or whatever. And so he's just chilling back, building his Uber, preparing, you know, for his win. Meanwhile, what Nursey's going to do over here is absolutely sick. It's just arrow building, and if you've never seen it before, you arrow your pocket soldier, you turn and build on your scout, and you arrow your pocket soldier again. And doing an arrow build like this, you can get Uber twice as fast as you can without arrow building. So what's going to happen is Shade thinks he has that 40% advantage, but Nursey's actually going to have Uber in time to defend second point here, and Shade has no idea this is happening. So when he gets ready for this push, his respawners are up, they're getting ready to go down the deep left side. Shade, in anticipation for this push, just pops a little bit too early in my opinion. Like, he just popped very, very early. Maybe there's a trap or something I didn't see, but they thought, okay, we're going to run in with the Uber and win the game. Suddenly, Nursey pops, and Shade goes, uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, runs out left side. Luckily here, Banny gets a kill onto Badonsky, and that's what really turns things around. Not to mention Eric getting the kill on Rando out in yard. Now it's a 5 versus 4. Now Froyotech can come back into the fight. Same thing as before, I want to show you the top-down view of the same play, because in my opinion, there's no reason that Ascent should lose this when Shade is so surprised. Like, you're popping an Uber that is 3 to 4 seconds better than Shade's. You should not let this happen. But take a look at Banny's positioning on the bridge. Banny just completely got ignored. They completely forgot to kill him, and he's right on top of Badonsky. Badonsky's at half health. That gives Banny a prime opportunity to shove into Badonsky, get the trade, turn Yomps around. Now take a look at Mela and Corsa. They want to take that Uber into Shade and squash him with that Uber. They just don't have the opportunity to do so. Now also look at Rando. Rando goes for a greedy air shot onto bot mode over by the window, and because of that, feeds the kill over to Eric, and that's what creates the 5-on-4 that allows Froyotech to re-push in and potentially win this round. This one's a real heartbreaker for me. 40% Uber advantage for Shade, pushing through Saw. Last time you saw that he popped Uber too early on Uber advantage. This time, he's going to milk it, which I really appreciate. But the problem is, they don't see Mela bombing in from the high pipe. Lands on top of Shade. He gets forced, and now he's a sad boy. This is a bad situation for Froyotech. They're down 3 players on even Ubers, and they've got to get out of here right now. Ascent knows they have an opportunity to get into middle, so they're going to just start shoving lower and leave a ×2 cap on the second point. Forward spawns come up for Froyotech, so Shade's going to run back and quickly crit heal his teammates before the fight breaks out. But Ascent are already getting in through lower. Habib gets the first pick onto Rando. Corsa takes down bot mode, and Banny gets Corsa. Now, from this position, after the arrow is hit onto Habib, it is clearly a 5-on-4, a very winnable position for Froyotech to take the next point. However, couple player, Banny's going to get taken down on the right side, and Blaze is in Saw. Habib is really, really pushed up right here, trying to help out Blaze or something, and they just kind of forget about Ascent on the right side. The problem is, Shade is getting spammed out by Badonsky, and that's going to force out the Uber. Froyotech definitely do not want to pop the Uber first here. And even though it's 3-on-3 and Ascent have to back off back to second point, I feel like Froyotech could have punished this harder. If I rewind a little bit, it was 5 versus 4. Totally winnable. Froyotech wants to use their numbers in order to force the Uber out of Nursey. But the way that Froyotech was focused was to put all of their resources into attacking Saw, not into attacking lower like they should have been. And that gives Badonsky that direct line of sight onto Shade to get that Uber force. So if they were to do it all over again, it's simply a matter of looking in the right direction at the right time. Almost done, boys. 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the clock in the final round, and Froyotech have an opportunity to push into fourth point. Badonsky is dead, and Froyotech want to use numbers to force Nursey's Uber once again. I love how Shade is milking the Uber, kind of baiting Banny a little bit too hard. He's so low, but they still allow them to, get damage in onto Nursey, force that Uber, and Shade has a much better Uber here as they push out of Saw. Got to flash over to Habib. That's totally fine. The Uber is still much better, and Banny is leading the charge into upper lobby. They take Mela down. Nursey's in so much trouble upper lobby, totally caught, and Froyotech have massive number advantage with an opportunity to push last and close out the round. This is a really good Uber. And that's it. That's the end of the demo. I don't know why, but the demo abruptly ends there. The match goes into overtime, but I can't show you any of the Ubers from that round. I'm really, really sorry, guys, but that's how it's going to end. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It took me a long time to put together this video. Hope you guys enjoy this type of format, enjoy this type of content. I want to break down more of this stuff in the future. Let me know what you like in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you guys all on the next video. Peace.